Welcome to the Purpose Chasers podcast, where adversity meets ambition and setbacks become setups for something greater. I'm your host, Mark Crandall. After walking away from a $5.1 million construction sale, enduring loss, betrayal, a season of darkness, and a pile of financial devastation, I came back to the one thing I can't shake, helping people live on purpose. This podcast isn't about chasing dollars, it's about chasing calling. Every week, we shine light on creators, entrepreneurs, and artists who refuse to quit. People who kept moving forward when life told them to sit down. If you've ever been knocked down, counted out, or told no, you're in the right place. Because here, we turn pain into power and purpose into impact. Let's dive into this week's episode.
To Mr. Joseph Hughes. Joseph is the founder and owner of Contractor Dynamics. You also have a roofing company in Jersey, correct? You're right down the road from me.
Yes, I am in Jersey. However, I don't own a roofing company yet.
Oh, well, what did I just speak it into existence?
Yeah, we've got the website going and climbing up the Google search results. But I'm looking at January 2022 to launch that. But I grew up, I don't know if you in your research you saw the construction background, but I grew up in my family's construction company, a sixth generation family member. So since I was 14, that's kind of been in my blood. So maybe that's where you got that from. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll start the roofing company later on.
You're starting the roofing company later on. So you grew up. I did hear that. Maybe I was mixing. I was listening to, I think it was one of the podcast episodes that you did that you referenced. That's what it was. You referenced showing up on the job site to do some painting, and you were looking at the other workers and kind of playing out in your head what you thought they were thinking of you. I think that's where it came from.
Yeah, that's good research, man. That's deep. I remember talking about that. Yep. In the shipyard.
So can you, because I mean, in the pre-interview or us getting to know each other and feeling each other out, which I don't know if we've arrived at that place yet, but hopefully we do at the conclusion of this recording. Can you give me a little lead into like essentially growing up in the trades or in the contractor world, if you will, and how you got to the mindset that you have now?
Yeah, happy to. So it's been in my blood. I'm a sixth generation member of family business, which is Hughes Marine, which is a barge and tugboat company based here in New Jersey. And they have a shipyard up in Brooklyn, New York, and they operate up and down the East Coast. So my first job when I was 14 was going up to Brooklyn and like literally painting tugboats and barges. That was kind of the first thing I did was like, you can't do much damage with a paint roller and a 5-gallon bucket of paint. And as I got my feet wet, it was getting into like cutting steel with a torch and welding and driving a forklift and driving a tugboat and all those kid playing with like big machines, everything except a crane because you need to be pretty licensed to do that. But yeah, got an education there, worked alongside guys in the shipyard, like literally from all over the world. So I got an education there. And all throughout summers growing up through high school and college, worked in the shipyard. And then after I graduated college in 2003, I worked in the office, the head office here in New Jersey for 9 years. And pretty small company. I mean, 30 or so people maybe. So my cousin Brian and I are the same age. So we got to do a lot together: business development, sales, HR, proposing, giving proposals to banks to get bank loans, because we were always borrowing money to buy and build equipment and things like that. A lot of traveling. And so like insurance, we did a lot of that as far as like buying insurance for the company and all that. So we got to learn a lot about small business and how that operates. And very thankful for that opportunity to, to develop a lot of those skills. And I think that, getting into the mindset part of your question, I developed a passion for business, and I love all the moving parts, and it's never just one thing, right? It's all these moving parts that you need to have a good understanding. You need to have a good foundation, whether it's finances or HR or sales or regulations. We did a lot of government work, so a lot of regulations and paperwork to be familiar with. So it's really that holistic approach to business, I think, that's kind of carried into what we do now at Contractor Dynamics. Yeah, so it's kind of a long story short, hopefully short enough.
Yeah, no, it was short, but you filled in all of the blanks. And I just think about, so when I think about the trades, I think about, and this is what I used to think about as I was in them, right? And I'm referring to your parents' marina as the trades, right? Also, because I view anything as hard work where you're out there, really getting it. You're banging a hammer, you're swinging a wrench, or, turning a wrench, or you're rolling a boat, right? Like you're painting a boat, as manual labor. And now that I have gotten behind my computer, if you will, and I've really had the opportunity and the gift to learn from some amazing people, the marketing side of it and how much you can actually do by punching a key, which will make that job, like the actual performance of a company, much easier. My entire perspective has changed. And that is how, we're coming full circle now. That is how I came into contact with you and your podcast, which I'm trying to get you to bring back. You said you got busy, and it's on YouTube, so you can watch the videos on YouTube. But I think the content that you are bringing on the podcast is so needed, as there's not a lot of them. And when I say there's not a lot of tools and resources to help tradesmen, individuals that are out there breaking their backs, there's not a lot from an ethical standpoint. Can you mention that a little bit? Can you talk about, was that passed down to you from your father through the marina? Like, how did you come to the ethical standpoint and the integrity that you have in business today? Because, we talked about this a bit, it is, and especially in the online space, there is a lot of non-integral work going on.
Yeah, I read a book about ethics and just applied what I learned. No, I'm kidding.
I thought you were going to hit me with that. I'm like, this episode's going to go great.
Oh man, it was a 10-step process to being ethical. Now, I really, and I just don't know any other way, honestly. And I credit my upbringing, my parents, for that. My mother was a teacher. My dad is still a business owner, and it was. There's no other way. It's just like that's how we were raised, and kindness was like number one. Ethics. We grew up going to church, and I went to Catholic high school, Catholic college, so it was just that was my growing up, thankfully. And my dad was always from a business perspective, working with him, it was like, and my uncles as well. My dad and my two uncles are the owners of the company, and it was like just doing the right thing is always the right thing. Ethics above everything else. Being transparent with your intentions, building real relationships, and I just grew up around that. Like I just don't. I don't know how you can have go about business any other way and expect long-term success. And it's really not about success. It's about just human to human, like doing the right thing, like caring about other people. And like, it's not, we're behind computers, right? But it's not like we're inanimate objects. Like we're human to human. And it's about that connection and treating people well and doing the right thing. So I don't know if I know it's kind of wordy. I just don't really know any other way.
You nailed it. Maybe I was looking for, I read a book and applied it. No, you nailed it. I think you nailed it. And I was watching a video clip on the Contractor Dynamics website in which you were giving a talk to, I'm guessing it's your mastermind community. and you were talking about how the idea of just running an ad on Facebook to a cold audience, expecting them to buy your roof, is not the proper way to do it, right? Because they don't have a clue who you are. It'd be like me meeting you on the sidewalk and saying, hey, Joe, do you want to buy this thing off me? Right. It's just like, okay, I don't know who you are. Or if I were to pitch you on this podcast episode, you'd be like, what? No, it's the know, like, and trust factor. And so I want to dive into, I'd like to spend the rest of the episode talking about Contractor Dynamics and what you're doing to pour into individuals that are breaking their backs, even if they're not behind their computer. And I just moved to New Hampshire to jump in with Energy Shield to really grow this company and have an impact and leave a legacy. And I mean, you drive down the road and you see a pickup truck with a ladder, and on the dashboard is their business, right? It's like all the receipts, probably their checkbook, their schedules written on a Dunkin' Donuts napkin somewhere. And it's just like, that's their business. And as do I, as do hopefully most of you listening, like that's you running a business. And if you want to build a company, you got to put some systems behind it, so that if you're not there, the company can run. Can you talk about what you're doing and how you came to, why don't we start with how you came to do what you're doing?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, left my family business in 2012, which was the most difficult conversation I've ever had in my life. And I left on good terms. I know I say that because not a lot of people leave family businesses, especially ones that are 125 years old. And just really, had a career path kind of for the rest of my life, job security, good money, benefits, the whole thing. And it was like, you're set, but I just had that entrepreneurial itch to do something of my own. We were having kids, and I, just wanted to, go out on my own. And so I had the construction background, had the business skills, had a passion for marketing. I saw the gap, much like you're talking about, like the gap in, what contractors aspire to be and what they set out to build versus what they end up building. And like marketing, it's not going to solve every single problem, but it's a big lever that you can pull that can make a big difference. So the construction industry, as we know, is a few years behind the times when it comes to like innovation and marketing and software. So I saw an opportunity to provide value to an industry that's a little behind the times. And that was it. 2012, we got started and started working with local contractors and kind of grew from there.
And I just loved it. I literally just shared about this, and I can see, like, when you were getting started, very similar to me. I'm going to guess, and you'll tell me if I'm wrong. I know you will. I'm guessing you just set up some meetings and you went there and started to build relationships.
Yeah, I did something that, I've made a lot of mistakes. But one of the things that I'm proud that I did is I started so my industry, I was in the heavy marine industrial construction in New York City and in New York and all up and down the East Coast. So when I started, like, I had a contracting background, but I didn't know a lot of local contractors. So it's like either you can hope to get a seat at the table, or you can make your own table and invite people there. And that's what I did. So I set up a networking group, a Facebook group of local New Jersey Shore contractors. And I did these Friday coffee meetups. So I'd be like Friday morning, 7 a.m. at Green Planet Coffee Shop in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Show up at 7, coffee and bagels are on me, and we're just going to network. And at the time, like, I was brand new. I didn't have anything to sell. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was bringing people together. And like, you'd have the architect talking with the builder, talking with the designer, talking to the roofing contractor, and they're having these conversations, and I'm kind of just like in the background. And after a few of those, a couple of guys were like, so like, what do you do? Like, how can you help us? I'm like, I don't know. Like, what do you need help with? I'll figure it out. And that was it. Like, I was just positioning myself as
what an amazing, I'm sorry. Just what an amazing story. What do you need help with? I'll figure it out, and I'll create a company.
Yeah. And I'm not a sales guy, so I'm not like going in there like, yo, you need to buy my thing. it was like, yeah, what do you need help with? And one guy's like, oh, my website's super old. And it was a design build guy who believed and still believes in SEO. And he's like, I really want to dominate SEO. I'm like, great, we do that. Another guy was setting up a new company, a branch here in New Jersey, needed some help. So those two guys, Nick and Neil, were the first two clients that came out of that group. And yeah, I mean, I spent $50 every Friday on coffee and bagels, but I position myself as someone that's worth knowing and someone that's providing this networking opportunity in this Facebook group. And I had a whole directory and everything. And that was the seed. I mean, 8 years later, one of those clients, Nick, who's now a pretty good friend, has, I mean, the introductions that he has made, the referrals that he's given are, I mean, millions of dollars in business over those years from that one seed of like starting the networking group. So yeah, it was just going out there and starting that was a catalyst.
And did you have a background in the digital marketing front, or did you go learn it?
Learned it. So I mean, in college I had a finance business degree, but like that was like 9 years prior, and that wasn't relevant because obviously marketing is moving so fast. It was really, I just had a passion for it, like websites, reading books, blogs, like courses, guys like Neil Patel, and all sorts of different guys that I was following. Just picked it up and just started like doing it, and just learned while I was doing it, and didn't charge those initial guys much at all. I probably lost money on them, but was able to develop those skills and more importantly, help them and get some good video testimonials out from those guys, from those experiences.
And from that starting point, I just want to get a picture painted for everyone listening. From the $50 a week bagel and coffee meetup, you have grown into Contractor Dynamics, which is now, like, how many lives would you say that you've touched?
Not enough, but
I like that answer.
yeah, I mean, that's I review my goals every morning, and that's one of the things on there is we want to impact tens of thousands. And we're not there yet, but yeah, we've worked with clients in maybe 45 states. There's probably a few that we haven't done. But yeah, as you know, the industry is gigantic. So I feel like we're still scratching the surface. Yeah, it's just, grew by word of mouth. At the beginning, we got our website set up, and we really built a lot of brand building on SEO. So it was like contractor marketing, contractor SEO, contractor advertising. Like we rose up the search engine results pretty quickly. And then we eventually got into like social media advertising to pour more fuel on that fire. So it was a very, organic and slow process. But it enabled us to learn along the way, and to also like keep our level of quality high along the way, which is like so important. Even now, we hold back on advertising spend, because I don't want to grow too quickly and sacrifice the quality that we're delivering for our clients. So it's always a balance. You want to figure out how to bring on more clients, but you also want to make sure that you're fulfilling and keeping that level high, because they put their trust in you and their money, and every contractor's been burned before, right? So the last thing I want to be is another marketing company that they've tried and it hasn't worked out. So
oh god, I was partnered in a solar lead generation and a roofing lead generation company. I can't tell you. And I was the front line, right? So I was, the initial call and getting to know them and finding out, every single one of them. I've tried Facebook ads. I've tried Google ads. They didn't work. And it was like, oh my, like, no, it's not that they didn't work. And I'm sorry that you've had this experience. Like you weren't taught to market, right? And you can't just run a Facebook ad and expect your business to blow up. These are humans, and you have to properly onboard these humans and take care of them. And the whole, which I heard you talk about in the video, getting them to know, like, and trust you as a contractor so that they buy with you. When you think about it, not only have the contractors themselves been burned by marketing, air quote marketing companies or people that can run ads, which are not marketing companies. They're just advertisers or media buyers. So have the homeowners. The homeowners have been burned by tons of contractors. I mean, I just moved from Pennsylvania, which right outside of Philly, which is right down the road from you. I can't tell you how many contractors I had to call just to get a couple jobs done on my house. And then as I was finding the people, I started to hear stories from other homeowners of like, yeah, don't call so-and-so, or don't do this person, like they took the deposit and I never saw them again. I was like, what? It's insane. So, just as, you're working to win the trust of the contractors need to be thinking about winning the trust of the homeowners, which is something that I know, teach in Contractor Dynamics. So I don't know personally because I'm not in there, but through my vetting, I know that we're speaking the same language. I'm not speaking another language. Can you talk about that a little bit? I would like to provide the tradesmen listening with some tangible actions, or at least some food for thought.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot. A few things that come to mind. So number one is to take off your contractor goggles, right? Because you've been doing what you've been doing for a long time, probably, and it's hard to see yourself. It's hard to see your business through the eyes of a prospect, whether it's a homeowner, a commercial business owner, whatever segment of the contracting industry you're in. But do your best to put yourself in the shoes of someone who's not, they don't know construction, they don't hire contractors regularly, they don't need work done regularly. So it's like, it's a scary thing. And like you said, everyone has been burned by a marketer. Every business has been burned by a marketer. Every homeowner, every property owner has had a bad experience with a contractor, probably 99%. So think about, like, you need to connect with those people where they're at. Like, think about what they're hesitant about, what they think about when they're like, oh, I got to hire a contractor. Like that, like you said, like, it's hard to find someone. It takes up time. You're not sure who to trust. You're worried that you're going to, lose money and it's not going to work out. So like, think about what people in your market are going through, like what's going on in their head. Like it's a risky thing for them to hire contractors. They don't know what they're doing. It's like when I take my car to the auto mechanic, I know zero about cars. Like, I'm that guy who's just like, yeah, whatever, $6,000 to repair the muffler sounds good to me. No, I'm not a sucker, but like, I can, be taken advantage of. Fortunately, my father-in-law knows everything about cars, so he can vet, different quotes and whatnot. But yeah, that's what homeowners are going through. That's what property owners are going through. Like, they're scared. They don't necessarily want to, they don't need to hire the best contractor in the area. They want to make a risk-free decision, right? They want to hire someone that's safe, that's going to be good enough, that's going to provide a good experience, to be transparent and honest. And so you got to realize that, and then realize, like, you're, just blasting out an ad saying, hey, we're the best, contact us, going there, scribbling up some estimate on a piece of paper. Like, that's not enough to build their trust. And one of the reasons that we are so big on training our clients on video, why I am a practitioner of video content, is that you can make that connection with people much more quickly and much more deeply than you can with, images or text or scribbling your estimate. So video is such a great way to cut through the noise and make that connection. And the good thing about video is that even though we're in 2021 right now, still very few contractors are actually doing video like decently well. So it's a huge advantage if you can do it and make that connection with your market. It's really, that's what people want. They want to be able to trust someone. That are looking for those signals, video content, nice website, your Google reviews. Over 90% of people are consulting online reviews before they make a decision. So like, a simple exercise is just to Google your company name one time, see what comes up. Like, are you proud of what comes up? Are there complaints? Are there, 3-star reviews? Like, what's going on there? Because I guarantee you, your customers, your prospects, even if they're referred to you, before they ever call you, they're online. Like, who is this guy? Who are these guys? Are they legit? Am I going to call them? it's a free estimate, like for them to get a free estimate, but it's not really free. They're investing their time and their energy to have you come out. So yeah, they're going to do their research ahead of time to make sure that it's worth their time to have you come out for that free estimate. So there's a lot there, but hopefully that provides some tangible value.
Yeah, I mean, you provided some great ground floor. What I don't want to do is start speaking in our language and confuse the listener. But I see it a lot in the contractor marketing space, in which individuals are sold on Facebook ads or Google ads, or, to shout out Alric again, or YouTube ads, right? And they think that they're growing their business because they're pumping ad spend and bringing clients in. But like you said, if you don't have a Facebook page that looks attractive, if you don't have a Google listing that has some credibility, they're going to lose the trust factor, right? So that's why I know we're speaking the same language. The organic front, which you're talking about, not getting your SEO up before you launch your roofing company, which other people would like, that's insane. No, that's brilliant in my eyes, right? Because I think it's brilliant. When you said that, I'm like, oh man, this man's a genius, right? Like, why would you launch a company before you knew when that got searched, your company was going to come up? Most individuals, I use Energy Shield as an example. When I jumped in with them, they had 3 Google listings. They had 3 different ratings, right? Because obviously people are going here and going there. There was 2 different numbers that were used in 4 different websites they were being driven to. And the first thing I said to Josh is like, all right, it's going to take me a minute. I've done this before, not as convoluted as what you have going on, but I need all of this in one listing. And so we went from, 40 something 5-star reviews. And then there was three 1-star reviews, because you can't 0-star somebody. And those 3 were all, salesman showed up, said he was sending an estimate, never said an estimate. You guys don't care, right? Which I followed up with 2 of them and won that job back. But it just shows you we weren't running ads on Google. They weren't running ads on Google at the time, right? They were going to find them on Google to then leave a review. He was running ads on Facebook. These homeowners were going to find them on Google to leave them a review so that their voice could be heard. Just goes to show that what you were just talking about, the organic front, the placemats or the doormats, if you will, the welcome mat for your company should be laid out before you start driving paid traffic. I think it's brilliant, Joseph. I really do. I think the fact that you're getting your SEO up is brilliant.
Yeah, it's thanks. We'll see. Time will tell, right?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. He's like, yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping. Here's hoping. I got a lot of work and money tied into it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I shared with you in the beginning of this episode, and I'm guessing that you have heard it and probably countered it with the individuals that are in your community and the individuals that you're working with, is this idea of a dead lead. And it's something that literally makes me twitch when I hear it, because I can place that family in their home on their computer, filling out the form and like inquiring about your services. And then when they don't respond to the text message that you send or the first voicemail that you leave, they're classed as a dead lead. Can you talk a little bit about that and go into, some of the strategies that you teach to actually nurture a homeowner into a face-to-face or a Zoom meeting? I have to say Zoom meeting now because it's 2021, into making that individual an actual customer?
Yeah. So there's the pre-work, like, okay, you can buy leads from third-party lead aggregators, which is nothing more than a homeowner entering their info on a site like Home Advisor, right? Like they're just entering their info. They don't have no idea who your company is. So that's a super cold lead. So ideally, you don't want that. Ideally, you want leads that are coming through your brand, which means they're seeing your content, they're seeing your social content, they're checking out your Google reviews, they're going to your website, and they are specifically reaching out to talk with you and not just any old contracting company in your local market. So that's first things first. You want to get people that are seeking you out, not that are just entering their info, looking for the cheapest price, and they just don't care who they work with. And then the other thing to realize, like contracting, and we work a lot with roofing companies, roofing contracting, it's a high consideration purchase. So like you're spending, if it's a small handyman job, couple grand maybe, roof anywhere between 10 and a couple $100,000 for the big ones. It's a lot of money. So people are not going to just wake up on a Tuesday and be like, I need a roof. I'm going to call a roofer or contact a roofer and get a quote, and I get my checkbook ready to go. Like, no, they're in research mode. They're checking out their options. They're looking at financing. They're seeing what a roof actually costs. They're wondering whether they need to get a roof today or whether they can wait a couple more years. Maybe they're waiting until they get their tax refund. Maybe they're waiting until, the end of winter. Maybe they're waiting for, whatever. Roofing, contracting folks are sales focused for the most part. So like we always want to go hunting for that sale today, but you got to realize that like that's only a very small percentage of the people in any given market who are ready to do business today. Most people are in that research mode. So if you're doing any sort of decent marketing, whether it's organic or paid, you've done the work to get someone's attention, to get them to fill out that form or text you or call you or send you a message. Don't let that lead die just because they're not ready to write you a check today. So on the immediate front, like one of the steps is to have a good lead handling system in place, right? Lead comes in whatever time of day, whatever day it is, have a system for responding to that lead within 5 minutes, like literally within 5 minutes. That doesn't have to be you're picking up the phone and you're calling them right away, but it can be an automated text message that goes out. Hey, Mark, just want to let you know, we got your information. We'll be calling you promptly to schedule your appointment. In the meantime, go to this link to check out, what we do and to check out what some of our customers have said about working with us. Keep that lead warm until you can actually get to the phone and give them a call. So that is crucial. That speed to lead problem is rampant in the contracting industry. That's a huge lever. If you can fix that, like you can double your business without getting any more leads in the door by just handling them and getting back to them. And then from there, there's a whole bunch of things you can get into, but like, after the appointment, okay, someone's not ready, they're going to think about it. What value are you dripping out to them? Whether it's like a postcard, text message, emails, additional Facebook ads that you can basically stalk them with to stay in front of them so that in 2 months, after 2 months goes by, they're ready to make a decision. You're still top of mind. They haven't forgotten about you. So there's like the immediate things you can do as far as handling those leads, and then, midterm, long-term, just staying in front of them. So when they are ready, you're right there ready for them. And it's this thing where like contractors, they're always looking for more leads, right? You need to fill up that bucket with more leads, but like most times that bucket has holes in it. Those leads are just flying out the sides. Whereas if you just patch up those holes and you have a bucket with no holes, you don't need to get all these fresh leads all the time because you have a system for nurturing them over time. And when they're nurtured, you're going to be able to add more value. And then you're likely to, turn those into higher quality jobs and clients because they've seen your value. They appreciate your value. They're going to price shop you less. Your profitability is going to be higher. You're going to be able to make money and actually reinvest back into your company and get off the truck, get off the roof, whatever it is you want to do. So there's a whole bunch in there, but those are some top tips.
And the ultimate win is that they start referring their friends and family to you, right? Which is a longer play that most contractors don't think about.
Yeah, and even getting referrals from non-clients, like happens all the time with us. And if you do a good job at providing value, like me as a homeowner, I'd be like, all right, I might not be, I'm going to hold off on my roof for like, another 3 years. I'm good. But my buddy Josh just moved in and he needs a roof. So I'm going to send him your way. So like you do it right, you get referrals from people that are not even your clients. Like that's when you know you're doing things right.
Joseph, in wrapping this, I mean, I could talk to you all day, but I see it, I don't want to keep you all day. And you can see your clock in the reflection of the video that we're looking at. So I don't want to keep you all day. If you could leave one tip strategy with, let's say Frank, who's driving in his truck right now, his mind started racing about marketing. I know you dropped the vetting, which I think it's a necessity in just based off of all of the individuals that I've heard that have been burned by, quote, I'm air quoting again, if you're listening to this and not watching, quote, marketers. What's one tip that you could leave?
Can I give you two?
Yeah, two. Do what you want.
Number one, because like you can't get into strategies or tactics without the mindset. You really got to get clear on what you want. And that's the conversation that we have with all of our clients. Like the first thing is like, what do you want? Do you want, more residential, more commercial, more like, who are your ideal clients? What are those right projects that are profitable, that you enjoy doing, that that can really grow your business? So like get clear on what you want, because if you're just like, I need more leads, there's going to be a million people out there that are happy to sell you any old leads that aren't going to do anything to move your business forward. So that's number one, really get clarity on what you want and anything in life, really, right? And then number two is this concept of when you generate leads through your brand, that's what you want to do. You don't want to be buying third-party leads from people who have no idea who you are, because that sales process is going to be an uphill battle. Your profitability is going to be tight because you're going to get price shops, and it's no fun. But when you generate leads from people who know, like, and trust you through your brand, that's just such a different conversation. And that's the way that you want to build your business. So whether you're doing it yourself, whether you're hiring a marketing person or a marketing agency, getting other people to help you, just that concept of like, I want to generate leads through my brand from people that are wanting to work with me or talk with me, and not just any old contracting company. That is the big difference. So focus on that. And if you're already working with someone, a marketing person or agency, then have that conversation with them. Be like, are we doing this? How can we do this better? That's going to serve your business in the long term.
And most of them aren't. And that's the exciting place for, men like you and I, and also the terrifying place for men like you and I. Most of them are not. The people that are grinding the sales are all working with, somebody, but the men and women that I want to work with, they don't know what marketing is. They've heard about Facebooks. Maybe they've launched their own once. They tried Facebook ads. It's those individuals that have been, banging it out and grinding for years and years that I really want to honor and see them be able to hang up their tool belt, because you can use marketing as an effective way to scale yourself out of your company so that you can actually own a company and not work for your business. Joseph, thank you so much for taking the time to come on, man. It was a pleasure. You offered a lot of nuggets, tidbits, especially the book that you read, which taught you about integrity. So really, really grateful for your time, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think our values align well, and what we're doing in the market aligns well. So it's really great to have the conversation, Mark.
Thanks for tuning in to the Purpose Chasers podcast. If today's episode hit home, don't just listen, engage. Follow me on Spotify, drop a review, and join the conversation over on YouTube at The Purpose Chasers, or on Instagram at Organic Nerdword. This is more than a podcast, it's a movement. And if you're here, you're already part of it. Remember, no amount of darkness can keep someone who's been called. So keep chasing, keep building, and keep standing in your purpose. I'm Mark Crandall, signing off until next time. Let's get it.